Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man.
Dude, sick theme music.
Can you come here, please? Can you come here, please? Got that song. Oh, I got that Maroon 5 song stuck in my head.
That darn song.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to Tulsa for the Tulsa Am Jam to play that event, and I was listening to 106.9, which is K Hits out of Tulsa, and that's K Hits. That's all they play is hits. But they are very known for playing the same playlist over and over again. I swear I heard that song 4 times driving to Tulsa on a 3.5-hour drive.
Yes.
So it's
how
stuck
many
in
times?
My head. It feels like 4.
Probably more. So that happened to Shay and I. We were in the rental car, and we didn't have reception everywhere, so our phones, like on Apple Music, couldn't play everything, right?
Right.
So we just used XM radio.
Right.
And that, I promise you, there were 15 songs that it was just bam, bam,
it's just
bam,
a playlist,
bam, bam. Yeah, it's crazy.
So anyway, all right, guys. Well, this is you on YouTube. If you join us on YouTube, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
This is kind of our live of the audio podcast. We haven't started recording the podcast. We'll record it here in a second. But thank you for joining us live. Before we start recording the actual podcast, does anybody have any real quick questions? Tell us about a trilogy challenge. Go to the chat board. Tell us about a trilogy challenge that you played and whether you were really liking the musket or the patrol or the maiden. Tell us what kind of worked out for you, because we like to discuss that for a little bit. We've got a few discs here that we want to talk about here in a second. The big thing, Robert, if you could hand that to me, the little kiddos there.
The kiddos.
So it's Father's Day in the next couple of weeks, and so we wanted to suggest an idea. If you want to do something unique for a father in your life, we have Dyemax custom discs, and this is a picture, and these are actually my grandkids. That's my grandson Eli. This was done about 4 years ago, so he's much bigger now, but that's my grandson Eli playing some Tulsa baseball there. But anyway, you can put a picture. That was a picture I took. You can put that on a disc. And then this is a felon. Yeah, this is a felon. And then this is a justice. These particular ones are just really nice and flat, and they make really good for custom Dyemax. This is my granddaughter Briley. Now, of course, I'm not her father, but I wanted to show people how you can put Happy Father's Day on there if you want and get your custom disc made. You can give it to the father or the dad in your life. He can throw it, or you can just use it and just hang it on the wall and just have something unique. You want to get them a card, but if you want something a little unique, you can put a picture of your loved ones on a disc and give that to them.
Or you can hold it next to him all the time, just like this. Oh, he's playing disc golf? Okay, follow him.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, these are super cool.
Yeah, cool stuff that you can do. And I've got other discs on my wall that are Dyemax, so cool stuff. Anybody talking about trilogy challenges on the board here?
Yeah, a couple of people. Joseph said, Robert, I'm afraid I might like the maiden more than the warden.
Uh-oh.
Huge mistake. But I've seen a couple of people say that.
I've seen a couple people say that about the warden and the maiden being very similar.
I do think they're pretty comparable. I think the warden has a touch more stability out of the box, but if you like the bead feel, I think they're pretty comparable, and they both really like to go straight. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
They're good.
It's that good.
So that's the thing about a lot of we have so many discs, but a lot of times discs might fly similar. So you might think, well, I don't need to try that then. But it might feel different in the hand. And so it may be more comfortable in the hand, or it may not. You may like the original disc that you had. Someone says there's not one close, but I bought a pack from D.D. Carroll. Nice. Yeah, so a lot of times if you have places that put on a trilogy challenge and for whatever reason they didn't quite meet, like they bought 30 packs and they had 27 people show up, well, they can turn around and sell those packs. So definitely be on the lookout for Facebook for people trying to sell their packs if you want to get a hold of that. If there's not one in your area, now first check, go to trilogychallenge.com, look at the events tab, see if there's one in your area. And if there's not one in your area, you need to host one. Danny and Anthony played in one, and Danny's putting together a video to kind of highlight what happened at that one. But they played New Life Christian Church here, put a course out there, and they're needing some new tee pads. Well, they've been doing some fundraising stuff, and this was one of the things they did. They had 50-some-odd players come out and raised about $600 toward the new tee pads, and that's what a trilogy challenge is for, partly for to help raise funds.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, good stuff out there.
Super fast on the board. Resting 27 says, shout out to Isaiah, age 12, and Jake, age 10, who love dynamic discs.
All right. Well, shout out to you guys.
What's up, guys? Come to Junior Worlds. We'll meet you and say what's up.
Travis, what's up? Bobby and Robert, Arrowhead next weekend. Super stoked. Absolutely. We are so excited about that.
You know this.
I was talking to Anthony and Danny about what are we going to do for media, and just I started remembering doing the other stadium events, how cool it was to throw discs in a stadium.
So not much media is what you're saying.
Yeah, we're not going to do much.
We're just going to keep it on the down low.
Oh, yeah,
that sounds good.
Take a few pictures with my Apple Watch and see how that works. So anyway.
Is your drone fixed?
Oh, gosh. I hate when I do that. Is my drone fixed? Yes, the drone is fixed. But technically, I can't fly it over a stadium.
I didn't see anything.
Well, you'd see the footage, so.
Well, yeah, but I didn't see it right now.
Oh, you can see it right now. So, let's see. Trilogy Challenge tentatively scheduled for 8/11 at Tyler Park in Newtown, Pennsylvania. Sounds good. Hopefully you have a ton of fun. All the trilogies are full around here. Wow. I mean, that's exciting that they're full, but maybe you can find something. Maybe you can run another one, Matthew. Maybe there seems to be demand for trilogy challenges for sure. The other thing I want to talk about real quick, since our YouTube people can actually see them, is these new West Side discs. I'll let you hold the blue Anvil while I hold the orange Anvil.
I just have one of each.
Oh, okay, one of each. So the first up is the Anvil. If you're a numbers person, the Anvil is a mid-range. That's a speed 4, glide 2, turn of 0, and a fade of 4. It's a overstable disc. I have seen some people compare it to a Justice, but after some people started throwing it, they realized it has a little more glide than a Justice does.
It's like a Justice that you can stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Where I would throw a Justice, I mean, really not that far. Probably only 230 to 250. I could stretch the Anvil a little bit farther than that if I want to. It's awesome. Yeah. Super, super good.
Talk about the feel.
I love the feel in the hand. Not a really, really wide rim. No bead on the bottom. Some people don't love the bead on the Justice. So this is no bead. Nice smooth rim. Yeah, really comfortable. So I like it for backhands and forehands, like just little touch forehands.
Stock stamp available June 15th. Now, next one is the Warhorse. A lot of people talking about the beefiness of the Warhorse. For the numbers, this is a speed 13, glide 4, turn of 0, and a fade of 4. So obviously a high-speed driver. Doesn't have the widest of rims for a high-speed driver. I mean, it's a wide rim, but
it's definitely a wide rim, but it's not like it doesn't feel like a Freedom,
right, or
something like that. Yeah.
So talk about the feel and the flight of the Warhorse.
The Warhorse is, I mean, Danny just put it in the chat, just beef. I mean, that's all it is. It's a very, very overstable, extremely reliable distance driver. I've watched, Kyle Webster of Westside Discs. He's got a pretty big forehand, big backhand thrower, and he was stretching these way out, flexing them over and having them come back. AJ Risley's the same. He's been loving the Warhorse because he just starts it on a slight Anheuser, and then it just goes, and always comes back to the left. This is not going to be the most beginner-friendly disc, but if you're looking for something to fight the wind that feels comfortable in the hand, feels more kind of like a distance driver than a stiletto's pretty flat most of the time. These have a little bit more dome to them. I think the Warhorse is a fantastic disc. Got to check it out.
Both of these are already out in special edition, so if you have a buyback retail partner near you, they might have some left. But if not, on June 15th at 11 a.m. Central, these are going to be released in stock stamp and should be released everywhere. I know they'll be available at dynamicsys.com, but if you have a local retailer that you prefer to shop from, they should have it. If they don't have it, make sure you ask them. Say, hey, you're going to have the new Warhorse and Anvil because they need to get it in their store. These are going to be good discs.
They got to get it.
Go. Someone asked if we're going to be at Beaver State Fling. I know I am not. I believe, Robert, you're not going to be at it.
Also not.
And Eric, I don't think is going to be there as well.
Nah, he's Alaska-ing. Yeah. No, that's one that's on my bucket list, though. Even if I don't get to play, just to go see it because it's beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into recording. What do you think? Do we got everything we need?
Yeah, let's record some stuff.
All right, let me pull up my speak pipe.
Talk about
I think
the
I said it right there.
Yeah. Speak pike.
No, usually I say
speed pike.
No, I usually say speakeasy. No, I don't say speakeasy.
Oh, speakeasy. No, you do usually say speakeasy.
All right, I'm going to pull up speak.
There it is. You had to jinx it, man. Speakeasy.
Pipe, and then I'm going to pull up Google Forms, and we should be golden there.
Yeah. You just pulled up Twitter. I haven't seen Twitter in who knows how long.
How have you not seen Twitter?
I just don't use it anymore.
I mean, it's been there forever.
I know, but I don't use it anymore. Am I alone in that? Does everyone still use Twitter as much as they did before?
I mean, it's like not as much as Instagram and Facebook, but they're trying to make some changes to get it back. And
Really?
still, a lot of people still use it, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
A lot of people, some people are just, that's their thing. That's their
Twitter,
social
like
is
that's
Twitter.
their thing,
That's their thing, yeah. All right, hey, ready? Here we go.
I'm ready.
Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Disc Golf Answer Man. I am Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze. I have with me Robert Utah McCall.
Yeah. What's up?
Eric is out on he's out on assignment designing a course, but he's also checking off a bucket list item, and that is being out in Alaska.
Pretty sick.
So he got the fortune of someone reaching out saying they'd like to have a disc golf course designed out in Alaska, and he's out there living it up, having a great time. If you follow him on Snapchat or Instagram, you'll see that he is posting some really sweet, postcard-worthy, picturesque photos.
Yeah.
And just having a great time. I know Denise went out there to kind of have a once-in-a-lifetime type thing, spend some time out there. And, did he post it on? He did.
He did, yeah.
And he proposed to Denise.
Yeah,
So
super
they are
cool.
now engaged.
Congratulations to both of them. They've been together for quite a while.
I'm a little upset because I imagine he had it planned because he would have had the ring on him.
I bet,
he didn't say anything to us.
You know what? I bet he did have it planned.
That's what I'm saying. He had it planned.
Bobby, obviously he had it planned, man. It's a proposal.
Right.
It's like it's like one of the pinnacles of your manliness is proposing to your wife.
But he didn't even say anything to us.
Yeah,
it was total surprise.
I was taken by surprise.
So anyway, congratulations.
I honestly had considered coming in here and being like, man, it was so cool. He told me how he was going to do it just to see if he'd... No, he didn't talk to me about it either.
So congratulations to Eric McCabe and Denise Cameron. They are now engaged. And so I remember one time Denise was on Disc Golf Answer Man, and I said something to the effect of, when's Eric going to put a ring on it? And Denise was all like, wow, making all kinds of assumptions. Well, yeah, I told you he was going to put a ring on it sometime.
And Eric just tuned in live just now.
Oh, he did?
Mm-hmm. He said, hello.
Hey, what's up? So congratulations, Eric, on being engaged. I think it's amazing. I think you guys are great together.
Ben says he probably proposed by saying, I'll ask you a question. Doug would have loved that, man. Doug would have loved that.
So anyway, congrats. I'm sure Eric is having a great time out there in Alaska, and I think that's awesome. So.
Super cool.
All right. So what are we doing? We are going to talk about disc golf.
Yeah, you played some disc golf?
Oh, yeah, I played some disc golf this weekend. I played at the Tulsa Am Jams, a 3-round event. Had a really good time. About a 3.5-hour drive, so not too bad. I took the DD minivan, the baby RV, I call it.
Yeah, Silver Bullet.
And played out at Hakey Creek and Hunter Park, if you're familiar with the area. And then the last round was at McClure. I practiced on Friday, which I thought was so cool, until I played on Saturday, and my back was really tight.
You're wiped, yeah.
And it was hot. And I had a whale sack and a dirt bag.
You lost
sport
both?
Sack, and I lost both.
Oh man!
Like in the middle of the second round, so my hands were sticky and sweaty, and that affected my throat for sure.
Oh, for sure.
It was very frustrating. I tried to find dirt, but we were on a course that had when it rains, it doesn't drain very well, so there wasn't a lot of like really dry dirt patches that I could kind of rub my hand on to dry it out. So anyway, but I had a great time. The last day was really fun. My goal was to not get last, and I got second to last.
Hey, listen here.
So it wasn't last place.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
I was excited, actually, when I first saw the score because I thought I was third from last, and I was like, yeah, I'm even farther. Oh, I tied for second to last.
It's all right.
So anyway.
It's okay.
So I had a good time.
But yeah, and for somebody who doesn't get to play tournament golf, like it's good to just get out there and play.
Right. No. That I mean, it was kind of cool. I did a little bit of video for myself, my personal Instagram, on Friday, but Saturday and Sunday I mostly concentrated on the event, and it was nice. It was fun to just play. And I mean, I had some really good shots. I had some bad shots. I had some frustrating shots.
Yep.
But I loved the competition of it. I loved, going up to a tee pad and watching other people throw and how am I going to throw and throwing it and it working like it should. I hate when I do that. Sorry. And so, so the whole tournament aspect was good. They had a barbecue after the third round. They made some burgers and hot dogs, gave away some raffle items. And I got to see some people I hadn't seen in a while. So that was when I stopped by Basket Case Disc Golf in Tulsa. And that store looks really nice.
Is that right?
Oh, it's a very nice store. They got all kinds of brands and stuff like that. So great selection.
I haven't played very much in Oklahoma. I need to get down there soon.
You should.
Yeah.
If you ever do, let me know, and we're going to go play the Lodge at Taylor Ranch.
And we're going to go get Torchies.
And that's right. I forgot the best part. Twice. Friday and Saturday.
Super jealous.
I almost, Sunday when it was over, but it was like the opposite way that I was going to go home, so I didn't do that. Almost had it for a third time. I had, of course, the Trailer Trash Extra Trashy. Oh, I'm sorry. Chips and Queso.
Duh.
Trailer Park Extra Trashy, and then their taco of the month was the Tokyo Drifter.
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you, Robert? What'd you do?
So my wife, Shay, and I we celebrated our 5th wedding anniversary, the 18th of May. And so a couple weekends later, we went to Moab, Utah to just get away for a little bit and do some hiking and exploring and things like that. So we went to Arches National Park there in Moab, and then Canyonlands National Park, which is about an hour and a half southwest of there. And it was just so much fun because we love the mountains. We love the outdoors. Love just getting to see all that stuff. And we took, picture after picture after picture of all these rock formations around us. Some of the arches are just crazy how huge they are and how close you can get to them. And it was an awesome trip. It's one of those that I was happy to be back because I love being here, but it's one of those where we could have spent weeks up there just exploring different places. It was really cool. I could see from the pictures you got. It looked. It was incredible. It was incredible scenes and stuff like that. So I got to imagine it just was a really cool. How was it? Was it night? The weather, was it too hot? It got a little warm during the day. It would get up to 85, 90. But there's not much humidity there at all, and so 90 doesn't feel nearly as bad when it's not very humid. So it was great. Our very, very last hike. Somebody at Arches told us, hey, this is my favorite part of the park. You probably won't see very many people there. And it was like an hour drive from the visitor center. Yeah. And we were literally the only people there. Really? Like the 2 people within just miles and miles and miles. Yeah. And that was probably our favorite one. It was unreal. We were there at sunset. It was crazy, man. That's awesome. Really, really cool experience. It's been great. Very cool. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my experience at the Am Jam, but we won't continue with that. We'll get some questions in first, but I want to talk about lessons that I think Rex should know or learn. Ooh, yeah. Life lessons. Life lessons Bobby for the rec divisions, because I had quite a few incidents happen. Yeah. That reminded me I was in the rec division. Right. Nothing personal. I'm not trying to bag on and rag on the rec division. Because I know in fact, I use them as teaching moments. I didn't call anybody on it, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Yeah. But first, let's actually move on to real quick Arrowhead event, the disc golf experience at Arrowhead Stadium. That's coming up on June 16th. If you happen to be in the area, you might check the disc golf scene. You can search Arrowhead experience. There are about 8 spots left, and they're like random. So like if you have like 5 guys that want to go, you're not going to be able to play at the same time. But if you're looking for something to do on that Saturday, you can find you a spot to play. Other than that, we're just going to be out having a great time. We're super excited. This is going to be our 1, 2, 3. Our 5th at a stadium. 5th, and then not including Pocono Raceway, right? So the 5th time at a stadium. Our 3rd stadium to do. 3rd different stadium. And then of course we have the raceway put on by the Disc Golf Experience Raceway Pocono for Mike Solt, Mr. Disc Golf. So we're super excited about that for sure. Someone on the board on YouTube asked about the UDisc update. And yes. I know Robert knows about that. Tell us what's up with the UDisc app. Yes, let's talk about that. Josh and I, I believe it's Lichty is how he says it. He lives overseas. He and Matt are the brains and the brawn behind UDisc. And they've just released a new update on UDisc today that allows you to keep stats like they do on the Disc Golf Pro Tour and any other places that use UDisc Live. So Dixon Jowers and I went and played a round of disc golf this morning, and We kept score just like we normally would on UDisc, but after each throw, or I guess at the end of each hole, you just say, whether you were in the fairway or not on your drive, if you were inside circle 1, circle 2, how many putts you made, things like that. And then at the end of the round, you get to look at, I putted today, it was like 88% inside circle 1, 50% inside circle 2, things like that. I mean, it's so super cool. And so if you haven't tried out UDisc, I promise you're missing out. You need to try it out. And because of that, Josh has been kind enough to offer us a discount code for 1 month free for UDisc Premium. And that code is all caps DGAM. So just like the show, DGAM, that'll get you 1 month free of UDisc Premium. And then we're also going to do a giveaway for a year of UDisc Premium. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. But if you haven't checked out this update, you need to. If you don't already have UDisc Premium, man, just get it. It's super worth the money. Now you can track your stats. You can look up courses everywhere. You can measure throws. Check it out. You need to. It's awesome.
Absolutely. Cool stuff. All right, well, let's. We've got a few more things to talk about, but we'll hold off on those, and we will get to the questions. Remember, guys, you can go to discgolfanswerman.com, submit your disc golf questions. We will get it on the air. If you need to follow us on Instagram, because Danny's grabbing a few of those questions every now and then.
Nice.
And he's creating little 1-minute video answers to your questions. You can follow Dynamic Disc on Instagram to see those. We posted one today about someone had asked about nose up.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny gave some.
It's a distance killer.
Yeah, he gave some insights on that. So check that out on DD's Instagram for sure. First question comes from Dave Engel. Let me check the audios. We should be good to go. Here we go.
Hey guys, Dave here. Love your show. I had a question for you about seeking volunteers when it comes to building courses. We started a club here officially under a nonprofit status about a year ago, and it's gone great. We've finished our local course into 18 full baskets and tee pads, have a few more on the way. Seeking money and fundraising has been going better than expected. All great, except for that we're having trouble actually finding people to help when it comes to building the course. Last fall, we ended up signing a lease with the state, and we have this great, real advanced tournament level course design that's going in. The area is going to be reserved for disc golf only, a true professional type layout. And the only thing that's stopping us is trying to find bodies that actually come out and help us clear it out. We have all the tools, the insurance, everything, but getting people to actually come out and help has been our biggest issue. So I was thinking maybe Eric, when you go to design these courses, curious about maybe how that works, and how is it just the local club that helps out and actually does the construction and things like that, or any avenues of approach that you can suggest. I'd be willing to listen. Anyway, thanks guys. Love the show.
What do you think, Robert?
Man, stuff like that is always tough because with disc golf courses, playing disc golf is fun. Working on a disc golf course is generally less fun. So it's just difficult because everyone wants to enjoy it, but no one wants to put in the work. And so I think what you have to do with your locals is find the ones who are bought in the most, right? Who are the most excited about the course and say, look, if you contribute, like you really need to sell the vision of it to them, right? If you contribute to this, if you do this work, it's going to put us in a spot where we can enjoy this for years and years and years. Maybe if one of your long-term goals is to run a big tournament there, you say, we could get some of the best players in the world here playing our course. So really, you just have to sell the vision. I think that's the most important part of it. I'm not saying that it's easy by any means, but that's what I would do if I was in your situation.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is if you've, without knowing what you've done already, if you've shared that vision and you still can't get people to just get up and, I don't want to say not be lazy, but at least
just
contribute
do it.
to it. And not to do it, then maybe figure out some kind of incentives. I don't know. Maybe
that's good.
Maybe everybody that comes out and help gets put into a raffle, and then you select free entries into the next big tournament you're going to have there.
Nice.
So something like that. So some kind of incentives to get them out there. Or if you got some discs that you have that you personally have or some people have in the club that you were going to do for giveaways. Maybe you can have different raffle items to where if you get 15, 20 people, give away 2 things in a raffle. Maybe that'll be some incentive for people to come out there and help out with some stuff. So hopefully you can get some people out there to help.
Yeah, good luck to you.
If you're listening and you're in the area that it described, make sure if you're going to be one of the people that benefit from the course that you put in a little bit of work.
Hop in, man. It's worth it.
It's the right thing to do, and the right thing to do is always the right thing to do. But you're going to feel so much more pride when you go out and play, knowing that, man, I helped clear that fairway out, or I trimmed these up to make it better, or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you, the great philosopher Kevin Hart once said before one of his Netflix specials that we were watching a while back.
Is it?
It's clean.
Do we have to? Okay, we don't have to censor it.
It's
okay.
clean. He's talking with some people before the show, and he says something along the lines of, "Everyone wants to get rich, but nobody wants to work." Right?
Yeah.
And that's like, that attitude sucks, but that's kind of how people are. So really, if you can sell the vision of, getting rich in this situation is having a great course in your area, putting in some work is going to go a long way for everybody to be able to enjoy that, including you.
Absolutely. Next one comes from Andrew. This is from the Google form. It's about coaching a club. My friend and I got our local middle school to offer a disc golf club. The club is 100% free to join. Wondering how we can raise funds to get the discs for the kids. P.S. Eric just bought my first EMAC Truth, got 3 more of the next day, and gave one to my little brother, and he actually can throw a disc now.
Nice. That's awesome. One of the easiest ways to do that right now is by running a Trilogy Challenge event. The cost of entry for the participants is low. You can make some money as the tournament director to fundraise for something like that. That'd be the very first thing I would do, is sign up to run a Trilogy Challenge and get people who are interested in helping out the school. That gets them something back as well. They get 3 unreleased discs up until this point. I think all 3 are winners this year. There's going to be some people who don't love one of them, don't love the other, but across the board, I think quality discs. So that's what I would suggest.
And I mean, same suggestion I gave before. If you have some cool stuff that you can give away, you can raffle it off by have people enter a raffle, buy into a raffle. I don't know if that's illegal to suggest or not.
I don't think so.
It's kind of
I literally never heard anything though. So
okay. Next one is from Evan. He's on courses. I may be able to drive to Emporia on a road trip this summer, but I would only be able to stay for 1 day.
Cool.
I am wondering what courses you would recommend me to play if I could only play 2. I'm rated 923 and enjoy longer, challenging courses compared to shorter beginner courses. If you could also recommend a restaurant or anything else to do while I visit, that would be awesome.
In my opinion, this question is easy money. So course number 1 that you need to play, if you like longer courses here, I'm going to say with the caveat that Country Club is closed that day, right? If it's open, I think Country Club is awesome, super duper fun. If it's not, you need to play Jones East and you need to play Peter Pan. Those are my 2 favorite courses in town. I like Opie Lake as well, and if you're up for a real challenge, that's definitely a worthwhile visit. However, it's going to be a little bit of a drive to get out there, and if it's windy even just a little bit, as Kansas is wont to be, that course play is incredibly difficult. So I would play Jones East, I'd play Peter Pan, and restaurant-wise, you have to go eat at Radius. I think it's hands down our best restaurant.
Next one comes from Luke Thies.
Tice.
I'm
just kidding. I saw I saw the note. I'm just being a butthead.
He put a thing that said like peace with a T.
Yeah,
so
Thies.
Thies. Oh, I put the in there.
You're so crazy, man.
Thies. Anyway, he asks, I started playing again 1 or 2 times a week after about 3 years. I've had a hard time developing a consistent anhyzer with my fairway drivers. I have a champion Leopard and an old Avenger. Sometimes it is hard for me to get these to flip, and sometimes they never fade back. Is this due to technique in developing a more consistent throw, or should I find a disc that is more stable, like an Escape, so I don't have to worry about overthrowing? Would it be smarter to just work on my forehand?
Good question. Luke, I think if the 2 discs that you're working, first of all...
By the way, Luke, I am not your father.
Thank you for clarifying.
I am not your father.
You've been waiting. You've been waiting so long for that.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
The Leopard and the Avenger are quite different discs. The Avenger is supposed to be pretty straight to slightly overstable across the board. The Leopard is going to be pretty neutral to slightly understable. In my opinion, the Escape is probably right in between those discs. I don't think if you're having trouble flipping a Leopard over to the right, the escape is not also immediately going to go right. I think it's got a similar stability, if not a little bit more stability. Now, if you're talking about an Avenger SS, then maybe that's a less stable disc, and then those would be more similar. What I would do if I were you is, one, you can check out a less stable disc, which would be something like a Maverick's going to fly kind of similar to a Leopard. Less stable than that will be a Witness or a Maul from Latitude 64, a Sear from Westside Discs. You might check those out if you want something to move to the right. But I would certainly work on an Anheuser, because just having a forehand doesn't fix every shot that needs to go to the right. There are some shot shapes that are better thrown as an Anheuser than they are as a forehand. So I would continue working on that and have a versatile backhand, as long as you have some sort of forehand.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Kind of to track back, some people on YouTube gave some good information about for the question about getting volunteers. He says one thing he does to increase attendance is he buys the volunteers lunch. If you work 8 to 12, you get lunch.
I'm interested.
That's a good thing. We also have players adopt holes. Adoptees are asked to take a little extra time when playing through clearing debris, which saves us time. We give them acknowledgments at events and as a thank you. I think that's good. That's almost reminds me of I know in some places you'll see the sign says adopt a highway, where you'll say this mile or the next 3 miles was adopted by such and such business, and so they maintain the cleanliness. And so if you adopted hole 5, it's your responsibility to keep hole 5 clean, which I think is cool.
I like it.
So
yeah, and incentivizing is always going to help you out with that.
Let's see. Next one comes from Eric in PA.
Hey, Disc Golf Answer Man crew. I've got a form/disc selection question for you. Back in January, I decided to pull everything faster than a 9-speed from my bag. I hope to teach myself to get more distance, and it worked. I used to throw halos out to 375 and 400 on a good throw, and was getting a full flex flight. Now I'm hitting that 375 to 400 mark with escapes and sinks.
Nice.
Figured it was time to put the halos back in my bag. I was wrong. My halos are only going about 10 feet farther than my 9-speed discs. Is this a form issue, or I just have a 9-speed arm? Tried trespasses, but they never clicked. I get them straight to about 300 feet before they fade out. I have 2 older DigiWeight stamped trespasses that I've heard were more overstable than the current runs. But what should I do? Should I stick with 9 speeds? Should I work with my halos more? Or should I look into a few newer run trespasses and give those a shot? Thanks for your time, guys. Keep it real.
Yeah, good question. I think this is something that just like we talked about earlier, this is likely something that Danny covered in a video earlier today, and the likely culprit of you losing some distance is most likely going to be nose angle. If you're throwing distance drivers slightly nose up, if you're able to throw fairway drivers 375 to 400, you should be able to throw logically distance drivers 50 to 60 feet farther than that, probably. If you aren't able to do that, I'd say, you're probably getting the nose angle up just a little bit too much. That gets punished more by distance drivers because they're spinning so much faster that any variance to the nose angle is going to be amplified by the fact that disc is spinning faster and it's a high-speed disc. So, yeah, work on that nose angle. What does Danny say? Tell me I know the follow-through high, but he's going to post it in the chat. Reach back low, hand on the outside, follow through high. Follow through high is kind of counterintuitive, but trust us, just do it.
So the match play, we talked about the amateur match play, the singles brackets. That's kind of winding down. If you go to discgolfmatchplay.com and go to the amateur side, you'll see, if you go to the championship sub-menu, I guess you would call it, you'll see the list of 50 names that are registered for the championship brackets. Now, remember, these people played locally. They moved their way through the state brackets, and now they're at the championship level. These people are actually coming to Emporia, Kansas. They get reimbursed $500 travel expenses. They're going to come here to Emporia, stay for the weekend, and they're going to battle it out for the top prize, which is 18 veteran baskets and a disc for life. We were in some pre-planning stages of media for that, so we're trying to figure out. We're going to interview some people, but we're definitely going to cover the final 4 that are going to be playing for the championship. We're going to get that full round coverage because I think it's going to be really cool and exciting to see
Agreed.
that.
Yeah.
So we're getting super excited. That is the weekend of June. What?
It's going to be kind of like when we did Facebook Live for Rusco and Kevin playing, except for better.
Except for
players who make more birdies, probably.
Right. But we're super excited. That is the weekend of June 20. What is it? Let me look at my schedule here.
It's like the 23rd, 24th.
Yeah,
somewhere
23rd, 24th. So super excited about that. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook because we'll keep you updated on that. But, I mean, it's just really exciting. This is all coming to a head. It's coming down to the championship. Someone's going to win discs for life and an 18 veteran baskets. And, oh, yeah, don't forget, second place gets 9 veteran baskets and $1,000 credit at dynamicdisc.com.
Sweet.
Come on.
Thank you. Hey, come on.
Come on.
Hey, come on.
That's some good stuff right there. So as we get closer, we'll fill people in, let them know things that are going on, where to follow and stuff like that. So super exciting stuff. The other thing I wanted to make sure we mention for our audio listeners is the stock stamp version of the Westside Discs Warhorse is coming out, and the stock stamp version of the Anvil. Quickly describe for our audio listeners the Warhorse, Robert.
Yeah, the Warhorse is a speed 13 driver, very overstable, extremely reliable, even in some wind. You can force it over. It's going to come back for you. If you have a big arm, you're going to love starting this on just a baby Anheuser and watching it fly straight and then finish reliably to the left. Super good disc. Big arms are going to love it. Slower arms should probably leave it on the shelf.
Should leave it on the shelf. Now, what about the Anvil?
The Anvil is like a throwable Justice. That's kind of how we've been talking about it. Similar stability to the Justice, probably not quite as dumpy, overstable right out of the box, but it's a distance that I can stretch it out, 20 to 30 feet farther, maybe 40, 50 farther than a Justice, and there's no beat on it. So it's going to be a feel thing, and if you want to throw it a little bit farther, for sure.
Excellent. All right, let's drop back into the questions.
Hello, gentlemen. My questions are at the peak of a little emotion since I just lost my Lucid Maverick yesterday.
Oh, no.
Dang it, man.
And an Opto Explorer a few weeks ago.
Dang it, man.
First, why haven't we got to a place where all discs float? Is the technology too expensive, or does it change the flight pattern too much? What are your thoughts on that? And finally, speaking about the Maverick that I just lost, my arm speed is similar to Bobby's as I throw the trespass as my driver, and the Maverick is a really nice straight thrower when I put some speed on it. I wanted it to go straight, do something similar on a shorter hole at a local course, probably about 250, and I had to ease up on the power so it wouldn't go too far. And so with that, the flight seemed to be towards a fairly good location until it faded pretty strong at the end and skipped into the lake. Do you recommend something different for shorter, straight throws? And can you talk about how speed affects a disc's flight pattern such as the Maverick? Thank you, gentlemen, and I'll look forward to hearing from you.
From my perspective, I have to make sure that there are times when I've thrown the Maverick and I thought, well, that didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Yeah.
And then I realized, the wind.
Mm-hmm.
That
could be part of it.
Yeah, I have to pay attention to the wind. If it's a nice headwind, it's not going to behave like I want my Maverick to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't have to be. Now, I've thrown the Maverick in some wind, but I'm talking like a rather stronger headwind. I stop and think, man, I should not have thrown that one. I probably should have thrown my little more stable Renegade to fight that wind a little bit more. As far as the speed, my understanding is, and also I have to make sure that I throw it well enough that it
does what it's supposed to.
Yeah, it got the disc up to speed to do what it's supposed to. Because if you don't get it up fast enough, then it's just going to fade and die. Yep. And so it may look good.
It's the same as any disc.
Well, yeah. It may come out of your hand looking pretty good, but then it's going to lose its speed faster toward the end, and that's when it starts to kind of dump. That's why a disc goes to the left, because it loses speed. I'm sure there's other factors, but that's something to think about. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and anytime All right, so discs, as the rim gets wider, their level of forgiveness gets lower, right? So putters are pretty forgiving. You could throw them slow, you could throw them fast. If they're thrown a little offline, they're not going to punish you quite as much as a distance driver will most of the time. Fairway drivers are in the middle of that spectrum. You do still have to get them up to speed in order for them to act how you want them to act. And anytime you slow down on a shot, right, whether it's a fairway driver or distance driver, that disc is going to act more overstable than it normally does, right? So if I throw a Maverick for me 100%, it's going to pop up to flat and ride to the right. If I throw it 80% on a little bit hyzer, it's going to pop up to flat and probably hold flat for a long time, maybe finish flat. If I throw it at like 60%, hyzer to maybe almost flat, but still finish to the left. So it really does have to do with the speed and controlling the spin so that it does stay in the air long enough. Anytime you ease off something with a sharper rim, the level of forgiveness is going to be smaller than if you're throwing something with a smaller rim and a slower spinning speed. For me, if I was throwing a hole like that, 250-foot hole, I always like to disc down just a little bit and just throw not quite a full power shot, but something where I'm really getting into the disc so that I don't have the same issue that you're talking about where it just fades out too much. If I throw an EMAC Truth, same line as I throw a Maverick or an Explorer, at the end of the flight, it's going to act much less overstable than that disc, even though their stability is probably pretty similar.
Gotcha. Next one comes from Ben G. Not Ben G, but Ben
G.
G. Hello, my wife and I are looking at purchasing a home within between 5 to 10 wooded acres.
Noise.
My goal is to install a 9-hole course that has mostly short holes due to the lack of land, but use the trees to still make them challenging. I thought about installing all marksman baskets and making it a par 2 course with tough putting. Do you know if the marksman baskets hold up in the elements? Can I order those with a sleeve for permanent installation?
Great question. Marksman baskets are not designed to be permanently installed, but we have one out at Jones East that's been out there for at least a few years.
Right.
And it's still doing quite well. I think we kind of had to do a makeshift sleeve for that because they are not available with permanent installation sleeves.
Right.
They're supposed to just be kind of a temporary basket you move from place to place to place.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our veteran baskets, they have a specific warranty as far as the elements because they are designed to withstand the elements. The Marksman is designed to be out in your backyard, practice, probably put away every now and then. But if it's constantly just being either rained on or the heat beat upon it or just the elements out there, there's no guarantee of how long
it's just not going to last as long
Right.
as a basket designed for permanent installation.
And that would be kind of a cool course.
For sure.
Be kind of cool, but
Do it.
do it, man.
Man, just do it.
Just do it.
Speak your truth, man.
Speaking of truth, don't listen to us. This one from Uncle John. This will segue into what I want to talk about at my Tulsa AM Jam. This is the top topic is unusual circumstances / rules.
How strange.
I was playing in a tournament and our group threw our drives. We walk up to our landing area and someone from the hole next to us had thrown one of my card mates, Bobby's disc.
This is about you. Did you not notice that?
No, I just picked up on that.
Yeah, this is about
Uncle
you.
John. I know who that is. Yes.
I was waiting.
I saw Bobby, but I hadn't read it through.
I thought
it
you were
yet.
playing it really cool.
No.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I was playing in a group through our drive. We walked up on a landing area, and someone from the next had thrown one of Bobby Cardmate's disc. We asked the guy from the other side, from the other card, where the disc was lying so that Bobby could play from the correct place. The guy was super complacent and gave us the old over there with the general motion. We just picked a point to mark the line, continued play. Was it the correct way to handle What is the correct way to handle the situation? Well, Uncle John.
Bobby and I actually talked about this.
Yeah, we did it. Okay, so here's what happened. I'll paint the picture for you. I had thrown my drive with my Renegade, and it was one of the light yellow, super
like a
shiny.
Day-Glo, yeah.
Day-Glo, that's a good way to describe it. And it's a color that we have quite a few drivers in, quite a few discs in. So I threw my Renegade, and everybody else threw their shot as well. Okay, it was actually a pretty nice shot. We walk up to the shot, and I grab my suspect, and I was going to throw my suspect. I'm lining up. I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, get around the tree. I'm looking down. I happen to look down just to make sure that my foot is where it needs to be, behind my lie. And I look down, and it's a sheriff.
Whoops.
Exact same color. And I said, that's not my disc.
This is not my disc.
And I look around, and I'm thinking, oh, I must have just found the wrong disc. And then I realized nobody else had thrown a sheriff. And I'm thinking the other card on the hole that was next must have thrown it. And then we're looking around. We can't find my renegade. So we shout out, hey, did someone throw a yellow renegade? Sure enough, a gentleman had thrown it. And we asked him, and he was frustrated, obviously.
Right.
And I know I'm so cautious about saying things because people take my stuff out of context and they take it. But the guy didn't seem very helpful in helping us in our situation when he had caused the situation.
Right.
Okay. So it came down to, I said, well, here's your sheriff. Do you know where's my renegade? Do you remember where the renegade landed? And he just kind of pointed kind of over there. Well, at that point, what you have to do, I mean, it's not my fault. I didn't intentionally not have a place and not have a lie. So that what you have to do is the card has to police itself. And so in that situation, the card has to agree where they feel the disc was at. Mm-hmm. Once the card agrees, yes, that's where we feel you should throw from, then that's where I mark my lie.
Yeah. It's the same thing as if your disc lands and then all of a sudden a dog comes up and picks it up and runs away. Or like the wind picks up and all of a sudden it just it's just rolling. Once it comes to rest, that's your lie. That's where you need to play from.
Right. And so other people can have input, but it's your card that decides. They have to all agree that that's the spot we will say you can throw from. So I threw from it. Actually, I told the guys, I said, okay, I put down my mini and I said, hey, you guys finish out the hole. I'm going to go grab my renegade because the guy just walked away. And I said, hey, I'm going to need my renegade. And he was probably 15 feet away. Yeah. And he threw it at me. And as the motion of his hand to get ready to throw it to me, I said, no, throw it. Then he threw it at me. Okay. So that brings me to what I want to talk about, and that is because of the way the Tulsa Am Jam is set up, and this is by no means their fault, but they play it by divisions. So I played there was a division that if you're 800 rated or lower, you're in a division. 850 or lower, you're in a division. So I was in the 850 or lower because my rating is 822, which meant I played with all rec division. Right. You know how we talk about when people ask what division to play, we say, hey, now be careful because rec division, they don't know a lot. They're still learning, and there's going to be a lot of rules violation. Right. Boy, did that prove itself true. A lot of people stepping on their minis as they're getting ready to throw, so foot faults. Mm-hmm. Another guy was throwing his discs back to his caddy. People were not waiting. They didn't understand the whole whoever's out goes, and then you kind of work your way in toward the basket. That was a thing that didn't happen a lot. What else? That whole thing with the disc thing, and there was a couple other things. Now I love it. A lot of you might be thinking, well, did you call him out? Did you call him? Yes and no. I would use it as a teachable moment. I would say, hey, guys, I know this is a rec division, but I want to make sure I don't want you to ever get stroked on something as you move up playing disc golf and think, why didn't anybody tell me about this in the beginning? So in between the holes, I would, as we were getting ready to tee off, I'd say, you know what? I'm not going to say anything, but I want you to learn from it. You aren't supposed to do this. You aren't supposed to do that. So it's just weird because my skill level is rec division, but my knowledge, I'm not saying I'm some brainiac and I know all the rules, but my knowledge of being involved and being around disc golf is at a higher level. And so it was kind of not a couple times it was frustrating, but a couple times it was just kind of comical.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. And now also, so just to clarify.
Yes. So
you said the player who tossed your disc back to you was about 15 feet from you.
I would say about 15, 20 feet because he's like, he threw it at an angle so it'd come back. He knew what he was doing.
Sure. So, I don't think you would have stepped it off at the time, but they've redefined a practice throw now. So practice throw, and I had the rule up a second ago, but a practice throw is a throw that travels less than 5 meters in the air to return a disc to a player or your bag. So that does not count as a practice throw anymore. If you throw farther than 5 meters or to return a disc to a player, that would be considered a practice throw. But I think they put this rule in place to say if you're just returning a disc to a player, or I spot my disc and I just kind of toss it to the side and it goes at less than 5 meters, no big deal. It's not a practice throw. I wasn't intending to make a throw. Anything longer than that, where you're doing a throwing motion, somebody might argue, okay, you're just trying to stay warm.
Right.
That's an unfair advantage. That would be considered a practice throw. So in your situation, it's probably right on the edge of where it should have been counted as a stroke against the person that returned the disc to you.
Right.
But your card did what you were supposed to.
Correct.
You reestablished the lie, and it wasn't intentional. That's why the player shouldn't be stroked in the first place. You definitely shouldn't be stroked because it wasn't your fault.
All right.
But once you reestablish that lie, play from there. That's it.
So there you go, Uncle John. That we played it correctly, we did it correctly. But that's good. Thank you for sending the question, because that's good to learn about as you play. And so I had a great time with all the people I played with on the card, so that was fun. Next question comes from Jake. Hey, Disc Golf Answer Crew. I currently throw my fairways, a Saint Pro, a T-Bird, and a Maverick between 320 to 350 feet, depending on the disc. I haven't really started throwing distance drivers all that much, and I'm wondering if I should, if it will help my distance, and what recommendations you have on where to start. Without seeing, I mean, you can, yes, that's a good distance. Maybe without seeing the accuracy of those distances, it might be a little hard to tell.
Sure.
But let's say you're pretty accurate with those discs. What's a good disc to disc up to?
I mean, a good one, a good intro to distance drivers, if you're throwing those, would probably be a trespass.
Trespass.
Yeah, you're going to find a nice straight flight out of that, maybe a little move to the right, and then a finish to the left.
Maybe even like a Renegade or a Northman, just to kind of get a feel, or is that still too close to the Maverick? And
stability-wise, it's probably pretty close to the Maverick. Speed-wise, they're obviously going to be faster. The first one, honestly, I would try a trespass and just see what it does for you. If it's too stable, then definitely check out a Northman, check out a Maverick, something like that. If it is immediately moving to the right and you have more power than you think, then you can step up to, a Bioenforce or like a Latitude 64 Flow or something like that. What he's also asking is if those distance drivers will help his distance, will get him farther distance, and assuming that you're throwing the disc on a level plane with the nose down, yes. If not, probably not.
okay,
There you go.
there it is.
Said it.
Done.
Did it.
Next question. Next one comes from Scott.
This is Scott from Illinois. My question is to Bobby or Robert. I'm a low to arm speed thrower. I throw forehand, right-handed, backhand, left-handed. I putt with my right. I'm trying to set up a disc for some tournaments, and I just want to know what some good discs are for low speed. I got an Emac Truth. My putter is a Warden. I also throw a couple of Mavericks. Just want to fill my bag. Thanks.
You basically said the discs I would recommend. If you do have a lower arm speed, I think Maverick is going to be it's your friend. It's just
It really is.
It's nice and slow spinning. The rim is comfortable in your hand. It's really hard to get so out of control with a Maverick that it misses big time, right? If you're trying to step up a little bit more than that, the escape is going to be a little bit more overstable for you. I think you'll like its reliability. If you're throwing a Maverick straight, the escape's going to be kind of overstable for you there. If you're looking for something to move to the right, you probably would want to try some of those discs that we listed earlier, the Witness, the Maul, the Seer, things like that are going to be a little bit easier for you to move to the right. And then if, say, you're just feeling crazy and you want to get into distance drivers, then I think a Renegade is a perfect introduction to distance drivers for somebody with a little bit slower arm.
Excellent. Something that might make you relatively happy.
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, he putts with the Warden, throws an Emac Truth, and throws a Maverick. I'm happy at that, but go ahead.
I put the Warden back in my bag.
Oh, welcome.
So I was getting my bags ready for the weekend, my bag, and then I was going to take my Trooper bag as a backup, If I thought, well, I don't want to do the cart, or it was going to carry some of my, like if I threw my Maverick into the water or something in the water. So I had a backup for every disc. And as I'm going through my bins, I look and I see my little hand-eye classic Warden. I thought, it's not smart to put something new in your bag for a tournament.
Nah.
But I've thrown this thing forever,
Yes.
and I knew what it did, and I thought, let me put it back in my bag. And I threw it a few times, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna stay in my bag.
My man.
For an approach shot, I like to use my suspect, and I like to try to manipulate with an Anheuser to a Heiser shot. But sometimes the green was pretty tight.
Yeah, you don't have room to move it to the right.
And sometimes I wouldn't throw it quite right, and it would Heiser out short.
Right.
And so that's when I thought, you know what? Let me grab the Warden and give it a nice straight toss at it. And man, it would just flip up enough, and then right at just kind of glide. And so I thought, okay, yeah.
How interesting.
How interesting.
If only someone had been telling you for a while that Wardens were really good.
I mean, I knew Wardens were good.
I'm
I just
messing
took
with
it out to try some stuff.
Yeah.
And
It's in between a suspect and a deputy for you, too. Like, it
Yes.
fits right in the middle of those.
Yes, because a deputy will turn and it will keep on turning.
Yep.
A suspect will turn too hard. Now, I had the Sheriff in there for a while, but sometimes if I threw it too hard, it'll go over too much.
Mm-hmm.
But the Warden, if it starts going over, I'll think, oh, okay. Thanks for coming back, Warden.
I'm telling you, it's my favorite
I figured
Frisbee.
you'd be happy about
It's
that.
so good. It's so good.
It's so.
I am really happy about that. I don't care if I won the bet anymore.
I
I'm just happy you throw Wardens now.
I almost thought about getting a moonshine Warden, so that if there's ever one that I have to really get on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, or is that going to be too more overstable?
No. I do think you'll find the stability for you similar to your suspect. Not
Okay.
quite as overstable as your suspect, but close. But if you like the feel of it, man, whatever feels good in my hand is what makes me feel confident.
Sure. Next one is from Brent. This one is, hello, my question is in regards to coming back after a very long layoff, like 15 or so years. I played a lot in my early 20s, but after having 2 kids, a job, and a wife, well, you get the idea. What advice would you give to a 40-something coming back to the sport after a long layoff, an old nagging knee injury? Just forget it. Don't even try.
Yep. Next question.
No, I'm teasing. I know I need to rebuild my bag with lighter stuff, but any discs or throwing techniques such as the X-step and large spinning follow-throughs cause pain, or any other advice would be awesome.
Yeah. I am a fellow knee surgery recoverer. Yeah, recovery. Yeah, something like that.
Recovery.
It's not a word anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But when I was learning to throw again, I'll say the biggest mistake that I made was trying to throw too hard too fast. I would, instead of learning good form again, I would just plant my knee at the front of the box, angle my foot out slightly, and then I'd just rotate my upper body as hard as I could and not move my lower body at all. So first of all, don't do that. If the X step is going to cause you pain, you can focus on a standstill. That's no problem. I would just make sure that your weight shift is good, that you're not putting too much torque on your knee when you're throwing it, but you're not sacrificing the proper motion in order to do that. Like for me, like I said, I wouldn't even move my lower body at all. I would just kind of just whip my shoulders real quick. And because of that, I still round. I mean, not like considerably, but like it's something that bothers me still. Ideally, you don't want that foot to stay in place when you throw it, right? You don't want to rotate around it and leave it stuck. You want to rotate on your heel, or at least the middle part of your foot when you throw that. So do that.
Next one comes from, I had it up here a second ago, Edvin from Sweden.
Edvin.
We're going to be in Sweden pretty soon.
Yeah, we are.
You getting excited about that?
No, I'm not very excited.
Yeah, right.
I'm super excited.
I mean, we're talking like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We're going to be on a plane.
I don't think I'm going to take any discs with me, though.
Why?
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm exclusively taking discs with me. I will play every night when it's light outside. I will not, but still, I'm excited.
It's going to be a good time. Good. We're looking forward to heading out to the Toonie 2018.
Yeah.
Toonie. What is it, 2018 Toonie Open?
Toonie. There you go.
Toonie Open. So excited to meet a bunch of people out there.
Yeah.
This one, Edvin says, I've recently been trying to improve my technique regarding my front foot when throwing shots. What I struggle to get to stick to my muscle memory is the fact that I need to turn on the heel of my front foot rather than the toes, which I'm currently doing.
Okay.
I know what I need to be doing in order to hopefully get some better distance, but I just don't know how to get it to stick. Any tips on this in particular, or improving / relearning your form in general?
Yeah.
Keep it up, Edvin.
Well, this is a question that I would usually just defer to Danny.
Right.
And I'm sure he either has made a video or will at some point make a video about it. But first blush is if you're rotating on your toe, that means that your feet are probably too in line with one another. That means that they're probably slightly wider than shoulder width apart, but still even with your shoulders. When you're trying to rotate on your heel, you want the toe of your back foot to be pretty close to in line or so with the heel of your front foot. That allows you to rotate on your heel instead of feeling like you need to get your weight too far forward and rotate on your toe. That's a small answer. I'm sure Danny could elaborate more. But
he says something that says offset the plant foot more.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what I'm suggesting as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it this way. You said it that way.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. But I mean, Danny's made footwork videos. I would check those out. Those are probably going to help you a lot.
Is he going to make any for dancers since they're footwork? No? Okay.
Fancy footwork?
Fancy footwork. Next one is on rules. It's from RJ. I have a question about the legal status of a marked disc during tournament play. I recently purchased a good amount of secondhand discs from another player who marked all of his discs with his initials and PDJ number. I simply placed my marking next to his old one and was told by another player that it would not be legal since his mark is still visible.
He wrong.
Would these discs be considered illegal to throw during a tournament? No, he's not wrong. I mean, he's not. You would not. They would not be illegal.
He's wrong.
The point of marking a disc is so that to avoid a situation that actually happened this year. Was it this year, Devin and Ricky?
No, that was 16 Worlds.
It was that long ago?
It was. I was there. I remember it.
So they both threw
White Fusion Defender.
And got to a situation where they thought someone had thrown from the wrong one, right?
No, it's that they were walking up and they couldn't tell whose was whose.
Okay.
And so Ricky's was marked under the rim. I didn't find out where Devin's was marked, or if it was marked. It might not have been. But the reason that we mark discs is so you could walk up on a disc like that and see it has a unique mark. I know this is mine. Right. If you throw blank discs, sometimes that situation happens where Fusion Defenders were pretty new. They had the same stamp. They look really similar. It'd be really easy to play from the wrong one. So, yeah. Put a unique mark on there. If there's already another unique mark on there, doesn't matter as long as it has a unique mark on there.
For you.
Yes.
So as long as you had put something on there, it doesn't matter that somebody else's mark was on there.
That is correct.
From a PDJ rule standpoint as far as playing with it.
Right.
Because I know, like I have that Maverick you gave me still has your signature up front.
Yeah. Which makes it fly really well, is what I remember.
So much better.
It's like way better, like at least 20% better.
All right, next one is from Paul.
What's up, Disc Golf Answer Man? This is Polly Warm, Papa Rough Wind. Hey, I've got 2 quick questions for you.
Thank you.
First off is putting. For a long time, I've focused on up game instead of putting because I don't like putting practice. I think I'm finally at the time where I need to buck up and put the work in. So I've been spending some hours out on the putting green, and I think I'm focusing too much on minute differences in technicalities of style. And I go back and forth between a push and a spin putt. And I just wondered if you had any comments on how much time you should spend on that before you buckle down and just work on your accuracy, because I am tired of tweaking my spin putt over and over to get a little bit more push putt like, because I've got that fear of missing out and I don't want to completely sacrifice one style over the other. Any help there would be appreciated. And secondly, I reached out to an FPO gal and I'm going to caddy for her this weekend at Beaver State Fling.
Cool.
I'm very excited. But I have neither caddied nor gone to a major tournament before. So I was wondering if you have any tips
on how to make sure I stay out of the way, but also stay helpful and do what I can to make a round as good as possible. Any help would be appreciated. Keep it real.
Nice.
Why don't you talk on the putting aspect?
So just clarify this for me. So he's asking when he is practice putting, was he trying to decide between forms, or I didn't quite understand that part.
I didn't either. He said he was tired of tweaking his spin putt to make it more of a push putt.
Okay.
So
what you really need is just consistency with your spin putt, is what I think he's saying.
I think so, yeah. Is it better to refine form or just practice what you know?
Okay. That makes more sense. Okay, so in my opinion, if you are comfortable with your form and you can make putts, I would practice what you know. If you're okay with your miss, right? Because the whole reason that people have different putting forms and strokes is because it's what makes them feel confident, but it's also what allows their miss to be acceptable, right? Most people who spin putt have a greater chance of making putts at longer ranges, but a lot of times if they miss entirely, they're going to be farther away. So there's a little bit of give and take with each one. I would practice whatever feels most comfortable to you, assuming that you're okay with that miss. So if you're a push putter, practice that all day, knowing that sometimes you might not make it to the basket. If you're a spin putter, practice that all day, knowing that sometimes you're going to blow by and you'll have to make another difficult one. But when I finally settled on a putting form, I just drilled it. I drilled it over and over and over and over until I felt comfortable with it. And now instead of trying to tweak it, my putting practice is just muscle memory, just repetition. That's what I would recommend that you do.
Now, as far as, I think that's great that you're going to be a caddy for an FBO player at Beaver State Fling. I think it's really cool. That'd be kind of a really cool, unique experience to be part of the event in that aspect. What you have to remember is a lot of the rules that apply to the player is going to apply to you, because in a sense you're an extension of the player.
It's not in a sense like
okay.
As of the rules, you're an extension of the player.
You're an extension of the player. So as far as dress code, you need to make sure you look presentable and follow the dress code. As far as smoking or drinking or anything like that, you've got to follow the rules as a player would. Yeah, don't. Well, Beaver State Fling's, it's an NT. No, majors is no smoking. You can smoke in an NT?
I don't think you can smoke in NTs either this year. Pretty sure.
Okay, so no smoking there. And as far as like be quiet, obviously turn your cell phone on silent or turn it off.
Yep.
As far as help, how much he didn't say how much he knew. He just said for an FBO player. He didn't say like I know the player.
Right. No.
So depending on if you know the player and you know how they are as far as talking, that's great. If you don't know, then you got to kind of judge. I mean, I've never caddied for our players, but I've followed them and take pictures and video and stuff. Some players, they like to chit chat. They like to talk a lot. Some players don't like to talk a lot. Just Eric McCabe. When I followed him to take pictures, if he's not doing so good, he does not like really to talk.
Yeah, he just wants to zone in and focus on what he's doing.
And when he's done with his shot, he walks away and he does his thing. There's been times where he's not playing so well, and I'll just kind of stand there, and he'll come up and kind of joke around about something, and I'll know that, okay, he's taking it in stride and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then there's people like Paige Pierce. Now, obviously, I'm not someone that Paige Pierce would take advice from, but sometimes I'm the only one around that maybe she's familiar with, and she'll come up and she'll start saying, I'm thinking I might throw my Marshall here, but I'm going to have to go for it. She just likes to talk it out.
Yep.
And you'll notice that a lot with her. She'll go up to somebody she really knows and trusts, and she'll kind of talk things out. So you got to kind of gauge maybe after 3 or 4 holes, how much does this person talk? Yep. And that's how I'm either going to just be the person that's right. The biggest thing also.
I've got this as well. So go ahead. Yeah.
Is make sure you're paying attention, because you may get wrapped up in watching other players or talking to other people. You got to be there when they need their disc. There's been times I've seen caddies where a player is walking up to their lie and they're looking around for their player to grab their mid so they can do their upshot or something like that. That should not happen.
Nope.
They should, as soon as they're at their lie, turn around. You're turned around with your back with the bag, and they're picking the disc, and then you're backing off a little bit, and then you're ready to take that disc.
Yep.
I'm thinking of little things. Depending on the weather, make sure maybe bring a couple extra towels to yourself.
Yep.
So you can dry off discs or wipe mud off discs or anything like that.
Yeah, so the old caddy mantra that everyone used to say is show up, keep up, shut up, right? That's what they said for yeah. And they always did it with the Z formation snap as well. As strange. But there is definitely some truth to that. You need to be there on time. The last thing that you want, not the last thing, but one of the last things that you want is to show up late to the round. Because it just throws people for a loop. Ideally, you want to create as consistent an environment for the player as you can. So show up early, make sure that you guys have a minute to talk, ask them what expectations they have of you, what they like to do when they're playing, and then from there, you like Bobby said, you kind of just have to gauge the situation. If there's somebody who likes to talk, let them chat it up to you. You don't initiate. Always let them start the conversation. And then keep up is super important. Just like Bobby said, don't ever let your player get farther away from you than, a few feet so that you can be ready with their disc. Then once they've got it, get out of the way. You basically want to be as, what is it from Arrested Development? What they say about a Milford man. A Milford man is best neither seen nor heard or something like that, right? It's you just want to you want to just stay out of the way. And then shut up goes along with that as well. You don't initiate conversation, let them initiate it, and then you guys can hash it out if you need to. Same goes for if the card is making a decision about an out of bounds ruling. If they're just if any other situation like that comes up, you really just want to make sure that you're there for the player. You give them their discs, they're ready to go. You don't have a vote on the card about an out of bounds. Your opinion at that point really isn't important. So when I'm caddying for like Paige or for Oakley or for anybody like that, I just stay out of the way. And if they ask me something, I'm ready. If not, I leave it alone.
I looked it up. Arrested Development. You can always tell a Milford man. The motto is that children should be neither seen nor heard.
There it is. Yeah, children should be neither seen nor heard. So yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about caddies. My best caddies are people that I can talk to when I want to. But if I'm not wanting to talk, we're just walking together through the park. I don't ever have to wait on a disc. That's the best way to do it.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for the Disc Golf Answer Man questions. Thank you for sending those in. Next week should be a regular week, yes?
I think we're on a regular week next week, yeah.
Yeah, nothing's happening quite yet as far as travel, but they will be starting soon.
Yep. So
we'll have to see what we do about Disc Golf Answer Man while we're traveling and stuff like that. So because I'll have the equipment.
Yeah. Really quickly about we mentioned UDisc earlier in the show. We do have a 1-month code to UDisc Pro, by the way. I misspoke earlier. It's not UDisc Premium. It's UDisc Pro.
They win our sponsorship.
And the code, that's right.
We don't have a sponsorship.
The code for that is DGAM, all caps. That'll get you 1 month free of UDisc Pro. You can keep your stats. You can track your rounds. You can measure distances. I think it's super worth your while. So check out UDisc Pro. You're going to enjoy it.
And I forget about the functionality. I mean, it has so much functionality. The other day, I was posting something about, because I hadn't played in Tulsa in a while, and I asked somebody, what's the quickest way to such and such? And someone said, UDisc app. And I was like, dadgummit, I forgot. I can look up courses on the UDisc app, and it shows me where it's at. And I say, tap for directions, opens Google Maps, and there I am. I kept my own. I used the UDisc app to keep my own score so that I could double check at the end of the round. And then, of course, I have a record of it now. Next time if I go play, I have a record of how I played during the tournament to kind of compare if I'm making any improvements. And, yeah, I really like that the updates are there, because if you're kind of that tech or static or
statistic
nerd, static. If you love static, then no. So these new updates will really help you. We got to figure out how to do the 1 year free giveaway though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we're going to do. I think while we're talking, I'm going to create a Google form, like we've done in the past, and we're going to think of the password is.
The password is.
We haven't made it up yet, so don't say it, because I don't want people to think what the password. Words. No. We'll think of a good password as I make the Google form while we're talking about our picks for Beaver State Fling.
Well, can I speak to something on the board?
If you want to speak to something on the board, you can.
Okay, so Nick on the board says, ultimately, I see the pros taking the caddy's opinion into consideration as long as they're knowledgeable about the pro's style of play. Opinions from the outside are helpful at times. Nick, I agree with you completely. When Paige and I are playing around together. That makes it sound like I'm playing. When I'm caddying for Paige while she's playing, we have played enough rounds together enough that if I make a suggestion, I know her game well enough to say, hey, I think this is a good idea if I think she's thinking something that's not going to work out very well. However, most of the time, I won't offer that unless I think it's an emergency, right? I want to let her come up with a plan first. Most of the time I agree with it because, she's a 4-time world champ. I just talk about disc golf and call people sometimes. But if I think it's going to be a disaster, I'll try and offer, hey, what about this? Just to have her think about it, not say, that's a bad idea, do this, but just to kind of put an idea in her head. So anyway, there it is.
There it is. While I'm making the foreman, we're getting some stuff for...
Yeah, let's talk Beaver State Fling.
Beaver State Fling. So Beaver State Fling is in Estacada,
Oregon, yeah.
Oregon, June 8th through 10th. It is a...
It's an NT.
If not all top pros, most top pros tend to say this is one of the events they really enjoy going to. And it's one of the events I know that I want to make it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if me and my wife were there, I'd make out. But so you want to make it out to this particular event. I know Robert wants to go. I know Eric McCabe has played it before. But if you look at the PDGA event page, there are a lot of people. A lot of the big names are going to be there. The Macbeth, Wasaki, Lazat, Dawes, Eagle, Sexton, James, Conrad, Ulibar. I mean, just the top of the top people are going to be there. Obviously, it's an NT.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember who
this
won
is a
last
really
year?
strong field, by the way. All right, so obviously a lot of the big dogs are going to be there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it because it's a national tour. But on the lower end of the rating spectrum, the lowest rated player in the open field is rated 977.
Jow.
That's like, man, that's really good. Most of the time, you have some guys who just say, all right, I'm just going to donate, but I want to go and just play and see. And maybe they're rated in the high 800s, low 900s. It's really, really interesting that the lowest rated player there is 977. It's cool. Sweet. Anyway, who won the Beaver State Fling last year? Is that what you asked?
That's what I asked.
All right. I'm gonna throw it out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say Ricky, but I could be wrong. I'm gonna double check. Let's see. Beaver State Fling. It was Ricky. Yeah.
Ricky got first. Paul Macbeth got second. Looked like they must have been in a playoff. I don't remember because it says
I do. Okay, I remember the playoff
yeah.
now. Yeah. I remember the playoff now. I believe it finished on the second hole. Ricky threw fairly short into the trees. Paul blasted it over the top of the trees and had, Ricky made one of those silly putts that he normally makes, and Paul had like a downhill putt coming back at the basket to push and didn't make it. So yeah, but I mean, they were just going back and forth all year last year.
So do you think it's going to be Ricky and Paul again, or you think
it's just hard to bet against that?
Make a charge.
It's hard to bet against that at this point, but you're going to have Eagle in the mix. I think he's proving right now that if you had to do disc golf world rankings based on like trending players,
yeah,
I mean Eagle's up there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite with Wysocki and Macbeth as far as like reputation goes, but play wise, he can do basically everything they can do. So I'd put him as a strong number 3, pushing them all the time. And these are courses that he's played at well before. He finished 3rd last year. He doesn't really have any limitations on his game, so he could be a great finisher here this week.
The website's pretty cool. You can click on the numbers, and it shows you the exact hole.
Oh, nice,
layout.
yeah.
So
sweet.
Obviously, I've never seen the course. I've never played it. So
I've watched plenty of coverage of these courses. Yeah. Players who play well here, there are some pretty densely wooded holes, and they need to navigate those well, get their birdies when they can, but not really take any bogeys in there. But most of the time, it's the players that stay out of trouble who are going to be finishing well.
So your picks, not having to say exactly what your picks are going to be, but your picks are going to be.
I'm going to take Rick
probably
first.
The norm.
I'm going to take Rick first. Again, I will pick Ricky until I'm forced not to. He is still playing quite well this year. I think he's going to take home the win. I could definitely see Eagle up there in the top 2 to 3, or even winning the event. Macbeth is showing that he's getting back to form, so I think those guys are going to be up there at the top. Kind of next guys down who I think could make a splash. Let's check this out real quick. Let me get back to our list here. Simon's always entertaining. He can throw plenty far to keep up out there. you don't really need super distance to make that course very manageable. If Nate Doss is playing well, he can be up there at Beaver State. I'm pretty sure he's won that event. If not, he's placed.
Has he recovered from his
That's what I'm
shoulder,
curious about. Yeah, I'm not sure just yet. Sexton has put together some great rounds out there. Both Nate Doss and Nate Sexton are currently, well, I guess they're not living in Oregon, but Nate Doss is, but that's the last place they were from, so they're very familiar with these courses. As you move down a little bit, someone I'd keep an eye on would be James Proctor out of California. He's a Latitude 64 sponsored player, finished 4th at Beaver State Fling last year, and is just a fantastic player. Plenty of distance, really, really confident putter. He just fires the putter at the basket. He's fun to watch play. And then a little bit farther down, I like Bradley Williams if he's playing well as well. Just super smooth in the woods.
On the FPO side, of course, like you mentioned with Ricky, going to put Paige Pearson there until she gives us a reason not to. Which,
that's right.
Even though she didn't win the San Francisco Open,
it's her first event she hasn't won.
First event she hasn't won. I still think she's going to either win it or be in the top there.
I agree.
But the question is, will Valerie Jenkins or Sarah Holcomb? To me, I'm thinking that's the two. I know Lisa Fakis plays well. Katrina Allen has been kind of hit and miss as far as being up there.
Katrina won an 8s here this last weekend.
Oh, she did.
So she's I think she won Battle of Seattle.
Nice.
And she has won over Paige in a playoff at Beaver State in the past. I don't remember if that was last year or the year before. But yeah, I mean they're both right there. She could really put it together if she wants.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So good stuff. All right, so get your picks in for the Disc Golf Answer Man. We'll do another giveaway for this one for the person that gets the most points. I've already sent out the goodies for the last two that we had talked about recently as far as winning the points. How are we at as far as overall standings? Who's number one? Daniel Woody is number one, only by 14 points. So Daniel Woody, close behind is Kevin Guion, and then not too far behind, maybe 30 some odd points is Andrew Neufeld.
Yeah, we got Seth Fenley from the Disc Golf Pro Tour sitting at 6th in our league right now.
Get out of here,
Pretty
Seth.
solid.
You're cheating. He's cheating because he's
cheating.
at all the events.
Look down there at number 10 though. Freaking Anthony. Get out of here, dude. Oh, so dude.
Anthony is number 10 and overall. Anthony, you can't win anything. You're not eligible.
Dude. No giveaways for you, dog.
So I am in 301st place.
I haven't checked mine in a while.
Yeah, you're probably not doing so good.
Do you want me to look?
No, I can find your name. McCall. Oops.
No, I've got to be on the same page as you. Hold on.
Okay.
You can't control find.
Yes. I figured that out as I typed it in again. It sunk in what you were saying. So Disc Golf Answer Man, DGAM is the league. Get in. Even if you're not, you can win per week. Now we're doing an overall winner. Have I announced what I'm going to give away?
Nope. But I'm in 295th place, 6 spots in front of you.
Only 6.
Having forgotten.
I'd forgotten a couple
few
too.
Weeks of,
so I'm going to tell people,
anyway.
How many events do we have left to do?
Quite a few.
Maybe I should tell people already. I'm looking at it right now in my office, a brand new Dynamic Discs Ranger bag. Yes, a Ranger disc golf bag, brand new, still in the box. In fact, still in the bag. That's going to be part of the grand prize for this.
We've got 11 events left.
11 events. So a lot of you, let's see, Daniel, you might not hold on to that lead very long. Kevin and Andrew, you're pretty close behind. So it's going to be a brand new. I'll send that out to the winner at the end of the season when we tally up all the points for Disc Golf Answer Man League. So you definitely want to, and maybe from now until then, maybe a few discs might find its way into that Ranger bag.
Cool.
Maybe a hat or two.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a Corvette. No, not a Corvette.
Maybe this Father's Day disc.
No, that's mine. That's
of
my
someone
grandson.
who's not your child.
Yeah.
But is related to Bobby
These
instead.
are going to go up on my wall.
Or I'm going to follow you around with them.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day. So anyway, get in on that at skipace.com and join the league. Of course, it's completely free, DJAM, and we like to have fun with it. We'll see who wins Beaver State Fling. What questions do we got on YouTube?
Let's see here. roll it back up a little bit.
Seth says that was 3 years ago. I'm assuming between Paige and Katrina.
That's probably right.
He says he wants to beat Anthony.
Oh, freaking.
That's his goal.
Nick says.
What did Nick say?
Robert's passport?
Passport.
Hateful for you to bring that up, Nick. Although I do.
Did we talk about that on the show? Or
I don't remember if we talked about it on the show. If not, I'll just go ahead and recap for you. Jeremy Roscoe and I sent our passport renewal forms in at the same time. I got something back maybe 10 days later, and I was like, surely that wasn't my passport. No, I just forgot to sign the form that I sent in, so I had to resubmit it, and since it was now within 4 weeks of the trip, I had to expedite it as well. Roscoe's came in like, I don't know, 2.5 weeks after we sent it in, 3 weeks, and he sent me a picture, and he was just, all smiles and like, sorry for partying, standard Roscoe stuff. But I did get a confirmation in the mail because they sent back my old passport, and they said your passport application has been approved. So now I just have to wait for it to come in. So it's coming, but yeah, I'm sad.
You're sad.
Adam said, did y'all already talk about the pro match play event? Adam, we didn't. I'll tell you kind of what's going on with that. So when we put that event together with that added money from Ogio, the goal was to have 64 players so that we could promise the same prize pools that we talked about at the beginning. When that bracket didn't fill, we decided we were going to postpone that and see if we could plan it out a little bit better so that we could get a little bit better participation on something like that. So the event is not canceled. It's going to be postponed until we feel like we have a better time that we can accommodate more players. So that's where we're at with all that.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what's your all's feedback on that? Post in the comments in the chat here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Well, the fact that it didn't fill.
Yep. Angelo said, is the scout basket still in the works? Angelo, it is still in the works. I don't have a time frame for you just yet. We've seen a sample or two, but nothing that we could, take pictures of or share or anything like that. So it is something that we are working on, though, for sure.
All right, so I am still, let's see if we get more questions, because I'm still working on our giveaway for the U-Disc 1 year. So maybe we can get some good info for our audio listeners, because I'm still recording. You still hanging in with me, audio listeners?
I like, in the caddy discussion earlier, whenever you were saying that caddies shouldn't really offer their opinion unless asked, Matthew thinks the opposite. He says that you should always tell him to run it. And then, and then he is saying, like, the player says, but that's a 90-foot de la putt, so death putt, like super runaway. And the caddy says, run it. So that's
run it.
Yeah. So maybe you shouldn't be a caddy. Yeah. Anyway, Seth says he thinks if the pros knew more ahead of time, they might have signed up, or they would have signed up, is what he says. And I do think that's possible. Seth, I think just the layout is something different than what they're used to, and it may have been that there are fewer full-time touring pros than we really thought. I think there are probably 20 to 30 who you are going to see at every last big event, and then there is another probably 50 to 60 that you'll see at some bigger events, but most of them are regional for them. Since it spans such a long amount of time, several months, I think that made it more difficult for people to sign up because they didn't know if they would be at all those events down the line. Sean said, so if you don't get your passport, are you coming to the Great Lakes Open? Do we need to call in an anonymous tip? Sean, I'm getting my passport. Okay. There's not even there's no secondary option. I am getting my passport. I will be going to Europe. That's it. Yes, that's it.
Anything else? I almost got us done here.
Not really many questions out on the board. We appreciate all you guys tuning in.
And your patience as I set up
this
trying to think of that looks terrible.
Trying to think of what else we have on the docket. So yeah, we talked about Arrowhead Stadium. That's coming up not this coming weekend, but the following. This coming weekend I'm going to go play Kansas City Wide Open.
Oh yeah, Danny's going to go play that.
Mm-hmm.
I might go out and take some pictures on Sunday or something. I don't
Taco
know,
will be out there. Corey will be out there. We should have a good little DD representation out there.
They got a Torchy's Taco out there?
No. Not in Kansas City, or I would
Weak.
literally be eating there every day. Say it again?
Chick-fil-A.
They do have Chick-fil-A, and that
I mean,
makes
that's
me
cool
happy.
and all, but
Yeah.
when I was in Tulsa, I had me Torchy's Taco, I had me Chick-fil-A, and I had me a Chipotle.
Yep. Oh, we ate Chipotle once we got back from the airport, and that
Oh.
was fantastic.
All the stuff we don't have in Emporia.
Angelo says, Bobby, did you ever get some arroz con pollo?
Arroz con pollo? No, my mother did not make any arroz con pollo.
If so, where's my
Arroz
plate?
con pollo. Have you ever had arroz con pollo?
Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
No.
What?
From where?
Well, I mean,
From where?
just from a restaurant.
Oh, then no.
Yeah. But at least it's not how Jeremy says it.
Arroz con pollo?
No. When we went to Casa, I distinctly remember him saying, can I have the arroz con pollo?
Arroz.
Get out of here, Jeremy. It's a Mexican restaurant.
We're just going to make this a link rather than the form.
Adam says, Robert, come out to the Oklahoma Open in October. Can play in Oklahoma for the first time. Adam, I will certainly consider that. I have heard good things about that tournament, and I would like to do that. And he says, and get some torchies. You don't have to tell me twice. I am very, very interested. Don says, River versus Maverick, kind of similar. No, I think the River turns a little bit more than the Maverick. Surprisingly, I think it has a little bit more glide than the Maverick. The Maverick has really good glide, but the River just stays in the air for forever and ever and ever. But I do think it turns a little bit more to the right than the Maverick does. The Maverick, the speed at which it turns is generally slower, right? So if it's going to stand up to flat, it does it pretty slowly. I think the River moves a little bit quicker laterally, so right to left. Sean says, I have a putting question. Do you try to keep your putter flat, or does your putter fly at an angle? When I throw mine, it is at like a 10-degree angle. Sean, I wouldn't worry too much about a 10-degree angle. The time that might get you in trouble is if you're putting on hyzer all the time and there's a strong right to left crosswind. That's my toughest wind to putt because I have hyzer on my putt as well. So in situations like that, I definitely do my best to get the putter as flat as I can, or even on a slight and hyzer to fight the winds. So if you have 10 degrees of angle, I wouldn't worry about it too much. And there are putters who putt on an extremely steep angle who are really good putters and who are good players. You know, I can think of Double G. He isn't renowned as a great putter, but I've seen him make a whole lot of putts, and he putts on a very steep angle. Christian Dietrich out of Montana, I believe, he has a lot of hyzer on his putt, and he makes a lot of putts. So, yeah, man. Where are we at?
We're almost done.
Okay. I don't have any more questions from the board here.
Talk about life.
Well, here's what's going on with my life. Let me just tell you a sob story real quick. Are you ready to hear it? Actually, I'll start off with something cool and then a sob story. I was out at the Emporia Municipal Golf Course yesterday. As we've talked about a little bit, I enjoy playing golf. I am not good at golf by any means, but I enjoy playing because it's extremely frustrating and I am trying to learn. And so I was out there playing a little bit yesterday. We went off on the back nine because they were having Ladies League on the front nine. And a guy who works here, Chris Edson, he was out a couple holes in front of us. Hole 11 is a par 4. It usually plays 303 yards or so, right around in there, depending on where the pin is. And it's a drivable par 4, a little bit of water in front of the hole. And we were just waiting on 10, waiting to tee because it was backed up a little bit. And we just heard screaming, like crazy screaming. I don't even want to try and do it on the show because I don't want to blow out your headphones. And we looked over, and Chris was picking his ball up out of the hole. And he had, in fact, aced the par 4 11th at Municipal Golf Course. Unbelievable. So, yeah, par 4, he got a 1 albatross. Super duper cool. We then understood why he was yelling so much. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Excellent.
So, my sob story is that I just got a new wedge. My ball was sitting on some dirt. I was trying to do the smart thing to save my new wedge, moved it over to some grass, not even to try and fluff it up, just to get it off the dirt. And there was a rock buried underneath that grass. And my brand new club scraped on that rock and just scraped up the bottom of it. Now I'm pissed. Anyway, that's it.
All right, guys. Well, we have stalled long enough so that I can get this form done. So if you are watching YouTube, you'll have an early access to it. But if you're listening to the audio, we are going to give this 1 week. So 1 week will be, what would the date be? It will be...
1 week will be the 12th.
The 12th. So the June 12th, we're going to, as we go live at 1:30 or 2 p.m., usually our typical time, we will select a winner on the show so you have time to get your entry in. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to discgolfanswerman.com/subscriber. discgolfanswerman.com/subscriber. You're going to scroll down and you'll see a sentence that says, enter for your chance to get 1 year of UDisc Pro. Click here.
Nice.
Then guess what I want you to do? I want you to click here.
Oh.
And then once you click here or there, you'll see a Google form. Very simple. It needs your name, your email address, a couple questions just for kind of some analysis type things, some very unscientific. And then the secret word is...
Password.
No.
Why?
It's got to be something like relevant.
Like relevant?
Like unique.
Okay, you asked for a secret word. I said password. There is nothing more relevant to the word secret word.
Do you know how many people make their password
a
and
lot.
they get in trouble?
A lot. It's awesome.
Warhorse.
Yeah. 2 words, not 1 word. 2 words. Warhorse. No.
Warhorse.
Warhorse.
Warhorse. So the secret phrase is warhorse.
Warhorse.
Horse. Or the secret thing.
Yeah. Warhorse.
Is warhorse. So put warhorse in there, hit submit, and it'll create a spreadsheet for me. Between 1:30 and 2 p.m. next Tuesday, we will select a winner, and that winner will win 1 year.
Password is passport. Rude.
Passport. Someone will win 1 year of UDisc Pro.
Nice.
Good stuff. All right, guys, I think we are officially really, really super done. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Do I play the really cool outro music for
I think so.
For our listeners? Here we go. See you guys. As I blow their eardrums.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry about your headphones.